All right, guys, Phil Mahn here, Front Runner Boat Works. Today I wanted to go over some of the 37 progress that we have coming, some unique features that we feel we did for the boat. Everything that's in the boat below deck has a liner, so we've got lazarette liners that have built-in shells for your sea chest. We've got forward liners that could either be kill boxes, or in some of the boats they actually have like built-in 5-gallon bucket storage and fender storage. So let me just show you one that's in the fuel tank and liner stage of the build process. So something that's really cool about our lamination process is the CAT is no different than our monohulls in that we do an endoskeleton on the transoms and the hull sides of these boats. So we've got a carbon uni that we put on the first layer of glass, which is basically just after the skin coat, and then there's also the same layer on the last layer of glass that's basically sandwiches all the composite material and the core construction on the hull sides. It goes down our hull sides, usually through where our dive doors are going. If the boats get in the dive door, it runs across the transom and over the stringer caps in a monohull, but on the catamarans we're putting them over the tunnel, so it's kind of like an endoskeleton. Some people like to look at it as like the old days, they used to kind of put the transom on the back of the boat. We kind of make the transom hold the rest of the boat in theory. So something else we did, when we were going through a lot of the product development and just even the composite and the lamination schedule and these things, we really wanted the boat to be rigid and strong. We've seen how these boats get run in a lot of these tournament series. And so for us, bonding the boat is going to be a huge thing for us. And so some of our competitors, they'll use like an inch or an inch and a half thick bulkhead. They'll usually methacrylate or laminate like an angle bracket on it. So when the deck comes down, they've got a lot of contact surface. So when we design and engineered all the compartments in the boat, we actually infuse the bulkheads in the boat when the boat's getting infused in one shot. So all these bulkheads are in place in the boat with a special grid that holds them in place. And it's all monolithic. It all becomes one structure in one part. It makes the boat really, really strong. And not to sit there and say that a wider or thicker bulkhead is any stronger than a thinner bulkhead. That's not really what we're saying. What we're saying is the fact that it's part of the infusion process makes it all one piece, part of the boat. And then the wider bulkhead gives us a better contact point when the deck comes down. These catamarans are real wide. That's why everybody likes them. They got a lot of deck surface, but that deck's got to sit on something. In a catamaran, you don't have longitudinal stringers for the deck to sit on. You just have your bulkhead space. And so we laid out the boat and the fuel tanks and the bulkheads that separate each compartment with a thick bulkhead. And if you look at it, it's pretty wide. It's about 3.5 inches, but this gives us a really good joint to run the methacrylate over, the MMA, to glue the deck down. Something that we like to do is we glue the deck down to the tops of the bulkheads, or if it's a monohull, to the tops of the stringers and bulkheads. And then we come back and we pull radiuses on everywhere that the knees in our liners make contact with the hull sides. We like to put a lot of knees in our liners because I feel that adds a lot of strength to the liner. Whenever you can make fiberglass kind of turn or curve, it really, really helps it become a strong part. And so for us, we tie all those knees to the hull sides, and we do it with MMA. Some of our competitors, and it's not a wrong way, they'll tab them with 1708 or glass. But I feel, and our engineering team feels, that using that MMA product, it's got enough elongation in it where it kind of, it makes everything strong, because the glue is actually stronger than the vinyl ester resin that the boat's made out of, but it just gives it that little bit of elongation where it really quietens the boat up. And one of the best compliments, and we get it all the time on sea trials when people are riding on the boats, whether they like them or not, one of the compliments they always say is like, it's the quietest running boat I've ever been on. No rattles, no bangs, and we feel that comes from the way we bond the liners and the rings together. So I'm gonna take you more forward so you can see some more of the construction methods we use. So this is our fuel cell area. We've got just shy of 700 gallons in the boat. It's right on the CG line. We foam them in, so they're coated tanks. They're aluminum coated tanks. We foam them in, then we glass them in, and then we actually have longitudinals this way that hold them together, and then we tie the longitudinals that are running this way together with another flat piece. As you can see, it's all flat right here. You don't really see the tunnel. And then we go in and we put these same braces, we glass these in, and there'll be another flat piece. So when that deck comes down, this is kind of where the meat of the boat is. The console's here. We've got a big console in our 37. the forward loungers here. It's all kind of sitting on this deck floating. So what we want is we want a bunch of contact points to hold that deck into place, to hold that structure into place. We feel it's going to make for a good riding boat, a good sounding boat. It'll be quiet, and we think it's going to be superior construction method to the way we put these together. These are the forward liners that are in the boat. This one we designed to hold. A lot of guys go fishing. We all have 5-gallon buckets. My boat always has 4: cleaning, tackle, leads, and then just an empty bucket to put stuff in while you're fishing. So we put 2 on each side. We put fender holders in it. Mark and I have always tried to make the boats kind of purpose built. Every boat needs fenders. Every boat needs bucket holders. This is just stuff that people constantly just throw in holes, and it gets real cluttered. So for us, we try to find a home for everything that we know is always going to be in the boat every time it leaves the dock, and that makes it for me a cleaner and easier process, and it makes fishing funner. It's more organized, and it kind of allows you to go through your check systems before you go fishing to know you got everything too. It's not all just scattered and thrown into one hole. So up the line, we've got the boat that's going to be at the Lauderdale Boat Show. It's closer to completion, so I'll go show you some of that stuff. Hey guys, just something else we've added to the front of our cats. We kind of call it an anti-sneezing device, but it's got a built-in return here, and in theory, it's got kind of a wave breaker. But our theory behind this, and in the CFD files, it tested to be true, but you know, we all know what the cats do. They all sneeze. It's physics. No one can get away from it. But our hopes are that as that water tries to travel up the tunnel to sneeze, that this thing right here that's got a return on it would help push that water back down, thus making it a drier boat. We all know what happens in CFD files don't always happen on the water, so this will be up for discussion when we run the first boat. But we have high hopes for this design.